Hello internet, and today is going to be a book haul. So I have never ordered anything off of Book Outlet before. I've heard about it from a bunch of different people. When I did that video about books and like where people get them, I kept hearing a lot about Book Outlet. So this is going to be my very first Book Outlet haul. For all of you not familiar with Book Outlet, it's basically like a secondhand online store for books. So like how secondhand stores are, but it's all online, so the prices are pretty cheap, and you get a book that is pretty decent in appearance. I've watched a lot of other people in their Book Outlet hauls, so I know that usually the books come in pretty good condition. But of course, I'm always really nervous when I receive books, and because I've never tried this vendor before, I'm hoping that everything turns out really great. Like, I made sure not to get any scratch and dent because I want all of my books in pretty decent conditions. So I'm gonna grab this box. I haven't seen any of the books, what any of them look like, so we're gonna see how they look like out of the box. I'm pretty confident, but here we go. So here is the box. As you can see, there is already like some damage done to the box. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm hoping, hey, the books are okay, only the box got the brunt of it, but I don't think I can really say much because Amazon likes to damage my things as well, so it's not like I can blame Book Outlet for my box being dented. So hopefully the books are okay and the damage was only done to the box. So I already cut this open because I really couldn't be bothered to do that on camera. And here we go. This is that little mailing slip about like all the stuff that you bought. And here's a bunch of paper. So I'm going to put this on the floor and then we're going to go through every book that I bought because I don't want to hold up this box the whole time. That's way too much. Alright, the first book that I got was Want by Cindy Pon. It's in really good condition. I'm like, whew, I'm so relieved, okay? Like, now I have this other vendor that I can trust that will deliver me good books. I have seen a few people who get, like, a bad deal of it, so that's why I was so nervous. But anyway, this book is by Cindy Pon. I don't really know much about it other than it is YA sci-fi. I'm believing it has an Asian male lead, but otherwise I don't really know much about it. It just looked really pretty. It was there. I really like the artwork on this, and I want to have this book. That's basically it. So the next book that I bought is the second book or second volume in the Zebulon Flinch series by Daniel Kras. I have not read the first book. I know if you guys have been here for a long time, you know that I have made previous attempts to read the first book by adding it to my Tome Topple TBR, but I never just got around to it. However, I really love this cover, so I'm hoping I'll love the series. And this book was on Book Outlet for like $5, and I was like, let's just buy it, and maybe that'll motivate you to read the first book. I know it doesn't work like that, but I'm hoping it does. So this series follows a young 17-year-old boy who has been 17 for at least 100 years, and he has been like talking about his time through history and all the things he's been dealing with. So I'm not really sure what it's about other than a boy who seemingly has immortality. And the cover is stunning. The first book is like an orange and this is a blue, and oh, they're so good. And this book is in pretty good condition. The only problem is it has like a slight almost tear look on this front of it, which like just don't stare too hard and you won't see it. Otherwise it just came a little bit dusty. So like I can't expect anything more. A little irritation about the crease rip thing, but that is so minor. So that's just me pointing out something that most people probably wouldn't even be really bothered about. The next book that I bought is Wake of Vultures by Layla Bowen. This is not a book I know much about, but I did see the author on Twitter tweeting about her book, specifically the third book in this series, and how the third book follows a bisexual transgender male assassin. And I was like, that sounds like a book I want to read, because I need books that have queer characters in it. And I don't want that to be a plot point, but I definitely want that to be part of the character. So I know that is something that, like, she promotes in her books. So I was like, I want to read this. I think this is the first book of the trilogy, and this specific book follows a girl, and she has disguised herself as a man, and something's going on. I think it's like vampire-y stuff, or like they're in the desert. So it's like a fantasy slash like supernatural thing. I'm not sure. I might just be making stuff up. I could very well be. But I really like this cover. The only thing that I don't really understand is why there are so many blurbs on the cover. Like, I don't care about your blurbs. I don't want them on the front cover of my book. Otherwise, this book, pretty cool. It has like a few like dirt marks on it, but I'll take care of that. Like, that's not a big deal. Otherwise, pretty happy. So the next book that I bought was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I've already talked about this book. I have read this book. This takes place in a post-apocalyptic and pre-apocalyptic time period. It all revolves around this disease that basically killed off most of humanity, and follows a bunch of characters while it talks about what was happening to them pre-apocalypse and what's happened to them post-apocalypse. It's a really good book. This came perfectly. Oh my gosh, this has a soft mesh cover, and like the words are raised. Ooh, that's so pretty. Ooh, and it has those little flippy things. I know people who like to use these as like bookmarks, but I don't. I feel like you just bend it up and then that turns your book ugly. But you know, if you want to abuse your own book, I'm just going to judge you silently from my corner while I pet mine and make sure they're perfectly taken care of. So I think this was the one that turned out in like the best condition, and it's really pretty. I didn't even know that those are little knife motifs. That's really cool. Anyway, I'm happy to have this book to my collection because I really did like it. So I was glad that it was on Book Outlet for a cheap price so I could buy a book that I've already read. Because, like, I kind of feel guilty when I'm buying books that I've already previously read, because I'm like, I want my own copy, but I know I'm not going to reread it anytime soon because I have so many other books I want to read. So is it really worth my time to buy books I've already read? I still do it, but it is a struggle for me. Like, I have to fight myself so that I can buy the books that I've already read. The next book that I bought is Autonomous by Anne Lee Newitz. This came pretty dusty, but otherwise it's pretty good. I'm not quite sure what this is about, other than I think it has a lot to do with like AI, Android, and stuff like that. And I have like a great love and fascination for artificially made beings. Like beings, whether they're organic or metal, but if you like you're somehow artificially made and created, I'm very intrigued by the conversations surrounding them and how other people react to them. Because like, for me, I'm just like, if you're a being, it really doesn't matter whether or not you were created or you were born. You're just alive. You have consciousness. You are a person to me. But of course, not everyone agrees with me, so I always like having main characters and having prominent characters who are somehow artificially made, and how the struggle is for them relating to others who are not artificially made. This is a really pretty cover, so I'm really happy with that. I have a lot of Navy books. Like, that has nothing to do with this haul, but I just have a lot of Navy books. And then the last book I got from Book Outlet is Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. I have read this book. I just wanted to own a copy, and this was the only copy of her books that they had at Book Outlet. So I still have to collect like the first book, Every Heart a Doorway, and I still have to collect and read Beneath a Sugar Sky. But I really like this series, so if you're not familiar with this series and what it's doing, this is the second book and follows characters introduced to the first book, but the whole series revolves around portal fantasies and characters who have entered portal fantasies, and now how they have been dealing with their lives outside of their portal fantasy and inside of the world that is basically fit for them. them, and they're created basically to live in this world. It's very interesting. I really like it. It's always surprising to see like novellas and how small they really are, but you know, it was a really good book and I really liked it. So far, like, all these books were really great. I don't really think I had anything to be nervous about. All the books came in really good condition, so if Book Outlet is something that you want to try, it came really timely. I ordered these books like 7 days ago. It came really, really fast. There was damage done to the box, but I'm pretty sure that's just because the delivery people hate me. Otherwise, the books came in good condition. I got all the bargain ones, so I haven't tried Scratch and Dent because I don't want to take any chances there. But Book Outlet does have decent prices. It ships very fast. The books come in good condition other than being a little dusty, but like, you can get that from Amazon too. So it's like, that's just what to expect when you get books delivered. So I'm really happy with everything that went here. So hopefully more in the future, you'll see me order other things from Book Outlet. I do think the Book Outlet website is a little bit confusing sometimes. It's like, I've slowly been learning how to use it, and like, that might sound ridiculous, but it took me a while to figure out how to best find the books that I want when I know they're not gonna have all the books that I want. Like, you get me. So my whole experience with Book Outlet was really, really great. I'm really, really happy with what I got. It was reasonably priced, so I'm also happy with that. And now on to other books that I bought that have no connection to Book Outlet. I just bought them, and since I'm doing a haul video, I might as well tell you about these books too. The first non-Book Outlet book that I hauled will go to The 5 Stages of Andrew Bradley by Sean David Hutcherson. I just finished this yesterday and I was just crying. I was like, this is so good. So this book follows a kid called Andrew Bradley, and he is currently living in a hospital after a near-death experience, and he lost all of his family. So he's been navigating through this hospital, trying to hide in it so that no one figures out that he's living there. And it's him and his life in this hospital, talking to other patients, having a job working in the cafeteria, talking to nurses, and sort of how he's dealing with mental issues, having just lost all of his family and really having an intense case of survival guilt. He also meets another patient who comes into the ER, a kid named Rusty, who was set on fire, and he's trying to talk to this kid, and they're building a romantic relationship through the course of this book and their conversations. So this book is really, really good. It also has comic strips in it, so I highly suggest you read the book. I don't think this has an audiobook, but like, I always want to inform people when there is like other media that isn't just words. So there is a comic that Andrew is always writing, and you get to see how this comic sort of has a lot to do with his life and how he is perceiving the world around him. So it's a really good book. It's really pretty. It has a kind of bluish spine, in case that is something that you're wondering about. And despite it having a person on the cover, I don't hate the cover. And I'm glad I actually bought it, because I was hesitant to buy it because I was like, there's a person on the cover. And low-key, the only reason why I read this book so fast is because there's a person on the cover, and those eyes kept staring at me and it kept freaking me out. So I was like, I'm gonna read this so I can just put it on my bookshelf, because Andrew keeps staring at me and it's creeping me out. The next book that I bought is a tiny novella. It is by Martha Wells. This is All Systems Red. This is the first book in the Murderbot Diaries. So this is pretty tiny, no lie, but it's about AI, and that's all I really needed to know, and it's on the BookTube SFF, so I decided I would purchase it because, like I said, I like stories about artificial intelligence and how they are relating to other people with their own personhood, and that sort of struggle that they have gaining a personhood and respect and things like that. I'm not quite sure what happens in the course of this novella. I think something happens with like the team that this specific murder bot is with, and that there's like he has to try to figure out what's going on, or they have to try to figure out what's going on. I have no idea. I was just like, it's a book and I'm going to buy it, which is mainly most of my reason for buying most of my books. Like, I'm pretty easy to convince. And then the last book that I have here is Monstrous Volume 2, and this came before Volume 1. I did order Volume 1. It hasn't arrived yet, but this is the one that's nominated for the BookTube SFF Award. I got a pretty good deal on it, so I bought it, and it arrived, and like, glancing at the art's really pretty. I have no idea what it's about. I think it has like some steampunk feels to it, but I have no idea what this whole thing is about. I just heard it was good, and when I was hauling graphic novels and asking for like advice, this was recommended to me, and because it's on the BookTube SFF already, I was like, let me just buy this one now and then I'll buy the rest of them later, because like, thank you guys for recommending me graphic novels and stuff. I do have them on my list and I will plan to buy them or read them at some point in time, but I figured I'll go with this one first since it's already on a reading list that I'm already participating in. Might as well just pick this up. So I'm excited to read this when the first volume shows up so I can read this, but otherwise that was the last book that I got. So this wasn't a lot. As you can tell, I really just buy books. Sometimes I don't even know what they're specifically about. That's no surprise. I feel like I say that every haul video. I'm really happy with my book outlet purchases. I am going to try to continue purchasing from them because they have really good deals. I'm not sponsored by Book Outlet. I don't think they even know who I am. Like, they replied to my tweet when I was complaining that I hoped all my books came okay, and they're like, yeah, they're gonna come okay because we're a great business. But like, they don't know who I am. So I'm not sponsored. I'm just saying that so far I see it as a very viable option for those who are very price conscious for how they're going to buy books, because books are expensive, and if bookstores could do better, I would definitely buy at bookstores more and I wouldn't buy so much online. But bookstores always try to make me pay full price, and they never have good deals. Like, traditional bookstores like Barnes & Noble and BAM, now I'm just gonna rant, but like, they never have good deals. I bought 5 Stages of Andrew Bradley at BAM, but only because it was at a reasonable price that I would be the same as if I bought it online. And I'm just like, why don't you have good prices? Because half of the books I saw in there, all I could think was, hey, if I ordered that online, I could save $5 and I would just have to wait a couple days. So bookstores, get your act together. Give me some incentive to keep buying from you. Like, have some deals. Like, I don't know, give me some discounts. And I shouldn't have to sign up for a rewards card to get discounts. That's irritating. Like, I should just be able to enter any bookstore and get a reasonable discount if I so want to purchase anything from you. But that rant aside, Book Outlet seems a feasible choice for those of us who want books that might be on back order and not new ones, because they might be on Book Outlet. So if you just go look there, you might find a book that you really, really want, and it's in pretty decent condition, and it's only $5 to $8 instead of like a full price $16 or anything like that. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to end the video now. So if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue seeing more, click all those bunnies down below, and goodbye, Internet.